Hello and welcome to Game Club, and today we're journeying into Lovecraft country as we ascend the mountains of madness. Right, so I'm going to start with the unboxing. This has already been opened, so you're probably aware that this will be stuff that we have already sorted out, so it won't be like this if you were to buy it. But first things first, love the box. I think that really sets the sort of mood for the game. It's based in a Lovecraftian world. I'm kind of okay with H.P. Lovecraft. I don't get all of the people who want to sort of currently lambast him for racism, etc., etc. I think that somebody's of a time he should really sort of reflect that. Instead, I would probably say that his work is very specific to a type of horror or gothic horror that I am not really a massive fan of. Anyway, right, so there's our instruction booklet, which I have read before and is very detailed and very well written. We've got our board, which is there, very nice indeed, and then we've got our cards. Oh, I seem to move around a little bit, but we've got our coast card. We've got our Edge of Madness card. It seems to be, it's been knocked around a little bit, which is, let's move this so it goes in the right places. Apologies. Anyway, Edge of Madness. We have our timer. We have some tokens there, card there, character cards there, some other tokens here, and then we've got our lovely little plane and our dice token there. And that's pretty much everything that you'll need to play Mountains of Madness. Now join us as we will play through Mountains of Madness. Now I'm about to show you a quick playthrough, or I'll probably do a slightly longer playthrough of the game because there are some more complicated elements. But firstly I'm just going to show you this. So this is the box, and inside the box that's what you should have left once you've completed your setup. You should have, unless you're playing with say 7 or 8 people, as you can see here I've got one because I'm playing with 4 people. I've got one player board left over, and then you should have one mountain card, a coast card, a few of the Edge of Madness cards. Normally I think it's 3 Edge of Madness cards there, 1 city card, and then also 5 escape cards. And that's just because what you should effectively have, this is something that looks a bit like, let me just put it up there like that. Perfect. Now that is the board, that's the starter board. I'll quickly run through, I'm just sorry, move this out of the way and put this down here so we can see. We'll run through what's on the starter board. Okay, in fact actually I'd probably lift her up and just float her over so you can see. So you've got your timer, you've got all of the cards laid out here, snaking up to the top where the top of the mountain is the city and the Edge of Madness, and then the escape there. You've got your equipment cards just over here, injury cards, arcane equipment cards, and this is your relic cards, sorry. And then you've got your madness from stages 1, 2 and 3 here. I have off the board your relics, and then of course your dice, your leader tokens and your slay effectively. And then we've got down here 1, 2, 3, 4 cards for our characters. Now just to note, obviously when you play this game as a group, if you're playing this as a team, you won't be able to see each other's cards. So effectively what will happen is you will not see the other players' cards, you will only see your own, and you have a round, which I'll go into how it works. But effectively what I've set up here is just so you can see what the board would look like and a 4-player game would look like. And just to note quickly, the leader in the 4-player game, the leader has to give out a madness card, level 1 madness card to each player, as you can see there as well, and we will discuss what they do. There will be obviously a slow but steady progress in this game. Anyway, effectively what happens is, and I've got the booklet here just so you can see that, because it does need sometimes some context and contextualization. In fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually lift this up to see if I can get this up here, because I think that you will need a better view of the board. I think it might be more easier to see the full board while we do it. I'll just move some bits out of the way so you can see that. But effectively what will happen is that you will have your turn. I'm just trying to, actually, you know what, I'm going to stand up. Apologies, I know that you're probably watching this, but you can skip forward for a second if you wish, because I'll try and get this just perfect for you, because I want to make sure that you get to see this in its entirety and also get to understand it as we play it. Apologies, I'm just moving my chair, which is propping up my very useful tripod at the moment. But what I'm going to go through is basically I'm going to play it for as long as I can and see how we do. I'm going to see each of the cards here, the equipment cards, but effectively, once again, when you play your movement round, you will turn this over. This is your timer, and you'll effectively have that long for everyone to decide, once you've revealed the card, what the equipment they're going to give. So this plane basically IDs where you're moving to. So if you hit on there, for instance, then that's where you go. You have to choose one of the bottom cards to start with, and I'm choosing this one here. So then what I do is I flip that over, and as you can see at the bottom here, so it tells you 7 to 9 value here and 8 to 9 value there, and it says specimen C, and then it gives you even more momentous exaggerations of nature seem disturbingly close at hand. Obviously that's taken from a Lovecraftian approach. I'll put that on there. Now just so you note, when you're moving, if we get to move from here, you can move to any of these tiles. Some people actually do go across ways and up, others will play it upwards, sort of literally try and get there as quickly as possible. Now just to note, if you do land back on a tile that has been already played, you effectively will have to take on whatever that tile was before. That's how we play it, although I think there is also another rule in the newer version which says that if you go to an empty space and without a tile, there is no reward to gain, but you still have 2 challenges to overcome. You therefore still risk suffering failure, so you don't get any rewards for it. As you can see here, the reward for that was specimen C, which would come from over in the relic section there. Now what will happen is that you will effectively now have the sand timer turned over, and you will get to choose each player. So I'm going to turn over, but obviously I'm not going to abide by that. That gets turned over, and each player will then go through their equipment cards, and we'll all be looking for something to give for that, and he's got 2 there, so he'll put that, and they generally will put that blind, and there's 3 there. No books so far. Actually, just check and make sure there's no books here. There's no books in. Oh, there is a book, so I'll put a book in there as well. And then we'll go. Yeah, I'll take the book there as well. And oh yeah, there we go. Superb. So everybody's given. Now they're allowed to discuss, and this is what this timer basically lets you do, is discuss before you put the cards. But effectively, once you've laid down your cards, they are the cards that you will use. So what will happen is that once you've laid the cards down, effectively what happens then is you will then play them to complete the task that you can see in front of you, which effectively comes around in the resolution phase. Now the encounter phase, which is so you have the movement phase, then you have the encounter phase, which is the second phase, which is where you do the discussion. So that was the movement onto the tile. Then the encounter phase is this phase here, where you effectively lay down your cards, and then the third phase is the resolution phase, where you overcome the challenge that we've seen. So then you will look here, and what I'm going to do is, because obviously I would have discussed it, I would probably say that, so we've got 8 to 9, we've got to go there, so 4, and we've got 4 plus 5 is 9, so that we'll take. And the other one is 7 to 9, so we'll take that, and I'll put, I think that was this, so that was yeah, it was his, so we're going to go with 7, 8 there, so that means that's completed, and they go on to the discard pile here. And so what you do is, the leader reveals all the cards played on the sled board and compares them to the challenge here. If the total value of the cards matches the required equipment total type equals, or falls in the range of the required challenge value, the challenge is a success. If it's a success, overcome at least one of the challenges the equipment are, you gain the reward shown in the bottom right. Now I'm reading it directly from that, but as I've already kind of explained to you there, so specimen C is what we get, and we effectively go and look here, and we go specimen C. So there we go, that's what we get. When you gain this card, draw a madness card. If you already have a level 3 madness, discard a leadership token instead. There you go. So that goes there, that's one of those, as you can see that fits in there, and you get a level 3 madness card, which is very useful. And as it says here, when you gain this card, draw a madness card. If you already have a level 3 madness, discard a leadership token instead. We don't have a level 3, so effectively we will then take a level 1 again, and I'll put that here. Now, madness cards I'll come to explain in just a second. So with the relic specimen, the leader takes the card listed from the deck of the relic cards and chooses one player, including themselves, who takes the relic card and places it face up in the front of them. This card is not part of the player's hand, but has a direct impact on this player when they are the leader. So I've chosen him as the leader, so he's effectively going to be affected by it. Effectively effective, there we go. If you receive a relic card, you must immediately draw a madness card. We have got a relic card, we did draw a madness card, and then we're off and running again. So, resolution phase continued. Searchability, you can now, so you can search if you wish. And if you see here, it has listed here what you can do. So resolution, success and phase, draw phase. All players draw back up to the hand size. So at the end of this one, once you've done this, you can then effectively go and draw again. Now if you've failed, which we will do at some point, I will go through and tell you what happens with your failure. Now, to note about the madness cards. Madness cards, at the moment we've all got a madness card, but a madness card will come into it where you turn it over, and foreigners, I speak with an accent, so basically that character will have to polite, I raise my hand and wait until someone calls on me before speaking. Lurking horror, there may be something under the table, I need to check before playing any cards. And then of course, who cares? I close my eyes and shrug my shoulders when speaking. These are little attributes that work very well with the game, just to make it a little bit more odd as such, but it is quite fun. But to be fair, in this sort of thing, you can't really get the impact because effectively I'm just playing it as moving around. I'm going to move, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 2 or 3 more times just so you can see, but we'll just draw here if we can. So we've got 2, and I'll add 2 to him, 3, so she gets 1, he's got 4, and then she's got 2, so she'll get 2 there, and then goes back there. Right, so we'll just do one more just so you can see. Now at this point what will happen is the leadership icon will move, and I probably should put that, I'll keep that there, it's fine, because we're only doing one more. Apologies, I'm just moving this across, just so you can now see this more seamlessly as such. But effectively what happens is this would move over, and if you don't want people to be afflicted by their madness tokens, you can use this to stop them being afflicted, which, because some of them will actually affect play within the game itself. So we'll move to here, so we're going to move up there, and then we flip this over, and same again. So we've got, and I'll just show this to you, nothing but the wind. The wind makes sounds like an evil musical piping over a wide range. So 8 to 10, 7 to 9, and arcane equipment, which is this card in the middle there, which is all 10 value, which is always useful. And so we need 8 to 10 or 7 to 9. So we turn that again, people will talk, and obviously their madness would affect that talking. I'll put the plane there just so we've got that. That should be removed off the board. I'll put that here. And so then basically what we do is we look at our cards and we go, okay, well I noticed he had lots, so he can go for a 6. He would say, right, I'm going to put a nice high one there. You know, you can't tell what cards you've got, but you can kind of insinuate. And as we can see, we've got 7 to 9, so I shall put a 5 in there. That's quite good. And then we've got 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8. There we go, 3 there. And hopefully we've got, oh yes we do, there we go. So we should hopefully now cover both, so the round's over. 6, 9, that's fine, so that's within the range, and then that's 8 as well, so that's within the range as well. Brilliant, successful. And then once again we will get our arcane equipment. That will go to one player that's chosen to. And what I would recommend is, just as a note to everyone, that with the items that you do actually get a very useful, the player cards themselves are very helpful because they kind of allow you to see on here what each step does, sort of as a turn overview. But it's useful to have the booklet, so you can then look at, say for instance, if you wanted to see, oh, I want to understand what happens when I draw a madness card. It said, if you must draw a madness card and you don't have any, draw level 1. If you must draw a madness card and you already have level 1 or 2, put your card back in the box and draw a card from the next level up. So effectively that's quite helpful. And then obviously you turn it over and see what it says. Resolution phase, so basically relic, specimen and rune, and knowledge, and then of course you've got your arcane equipment. Search arcane equipment, the leader chooses an arcane card of his choice from the deck of, so you can basically flick through. Heal, obviously look for an injury card in the equipment deck and basically put it amongst. And that's the other thing, so inside there are injury cards which will obviously affect your play and damage your ability to complete the game, which is never good. That effectively is the game. Mountains of Madness is probably one of those better adjusted games for gamers, especially if you want to play games that are for a group game with more serious gamers. The mechanics is far more designed for people who are used to a little bit more of the cut and thrust of gaming, and also the more tactical and logical sort of execution of gaming. I really like it. I think it's one of those games that probably works best when it works with more people. It does have a few sort of idiosyncrasies that I'm not sure they probably find out properly. One of them being obviously the injury deck, one of them being the equipment deck, and one of them being the kind of vast leaps when you move up in the mountain itself. But saying that, I think that really actually works well as a texture for the game, because it's all about the unexpected response every flip of a tile is. Although once you've played it maybe 5-10 times, you will kind of get familiar with some of the tiles. Although saying that, I still think you'll find something in the game that you obviously didn't expect. Now, all of this said, I think, and this is once again me, I think a lot, me, I think that the game is sort of anchored in the Lovecraftian world. The ideas are very much about Lovecraftian logic, and it does extrapolate at least some of the generic aspects of that. Enough so that people who are fans of Lovecraft and his work, and especially more the Cthulhu stuff, will probably link together some of the logic there and will enjoy the experience far more. Personally though, I think I could take it or leave it. I actually just like the game just as a play and a mechanic sort of way, and I think that long term it's a sort of game that will probably sit on your shelf and be played regularly, because you will find a new experience and hopefully new people to play it with. So that was Mountains of Madness. I'm Simon and this is Game Club, and thank you for watching.